Hello everyone! Today we will have a new lesson about types and functions of user interface or UI icons. So what is an icon? In computing, an icon is a pictogram or ideogram displayed on a computer screen in order to help the user navigate a computer system. The icon itself is a quickly comprehensible symbol of a software tool, function, or a data file, accessible on the system and is more like a traffic sign than a detailed illustration of the actual entity it represents. It can serve as an electronic hyperlink or file shortcut to access a program or data. The user can activate an icon using a mouse, pointer, or finger, or recently voice commands. Their placement on the screen, also in relation to other icons, may provide further information to the user about their usage. In activating an icon, the user can move directly into and out of the identified function without knowing anything further about the location or requirements of the file or code. An icon is a small graphical representation of a program or file. When you double-click an icon, the associated file or program will be opened. For example, if you were to double-click my computer icon, it would open Windows Explorer. Icons are a component of GUI operating systems, including Apple, Mac OS X, and Microsoft Windows. Icons help users quickly identify the type of file represented by the icon. In a computer's graphical user interface or GUI, an icon is an image that represents an application, a capability, or some other concept or specific entity with meaning for the user. An icon is usually selectable but can also be a non-selectable image such as a company's logo. On a web page, an icon is often a graphical image that represents the topic or information category of another web page. Frequently, the icon is a hypertext link to that page. Typically, icons are gathered in one or two places on a page, either as separate graphic files or as a single image map. Let's first talk about all the system icons. System icons symbolize common actions, files, devices, and directories. So in terms of design principles, there is concept. System icons are designed to be simple, modern, friendly, and sometimes quirky. Each icon is reduced to its minimal form, expressing essential characteristics. Icon shapes are bold and geometric. They have a symmetrical and consistent look, ensuring readability and clarity even at small sizes. So here's a sample of system icons, the do and the don'ts. For the do, make icons graphic and bold, and don't use delicate thin stroke weights. Another is, for the do, use geometric consistent shapes. Then don't use gestural or loose organic shapes. For the grid and keyline shapes, in terms of icon design templates, create your own system and product icons with these Adobe Illustrator files, including the 24 dp icon grid. For the icon sizes, system icons are displayed as 24 by 24 dp. Create icons for viewing at 100% scale for pixel-perfect accuracy. So here's the example of 100% scale, then the 1000% scale. Dense layouts. On desktop, when the mouse and keyboard are the primary input methods, measurements may be scaled down to 20 dp. So here's the example of the dense layout, 100% scale and 1000 scale. Speaking of layout, icon content should remain inside of the live area, which is the region of an image that is unlikely to be hidden from view, such as when sidebars appear upon scrolling. If additional visual weight is needed, content may extend into the padding between the live area and the trim area, the complete size of a graphic. No parts of the icon should extend outside of the trim area. So this is the example of the live area wherein icon content is limited to the 20 dp by 20 dp live area with 2 dp of padding around the perimeter. And the padding is 2 dp surrounds the live area. Dense live area, the icon content is limited to 16 dp by 16 dp live area with 2 dp of padding around the perimeter. Then on the right image is the dense padding of 2 dp surrounds the live area. The keyline shapes. In terms of icon grid and keyline, the icon grid establishes clear rules for the consistent but flexible positioning of graphic elements. Keyline shapes are the foundation of the grid. By using these core shapes as guidelines, you can maintain consistent visual proportions across system icons. Regarding basic shapes, specific keylines are present for certain shapes, such as circle, square, rectangle, orthogonals, and diagonals. These basic shapes help unify Google system icons and regulate their placement on the icon grid. So there's the example image of the grid and keyline. An example image of the square, which is 18 dp in height and 18 dp in width. And then the circle image, which is 20 dp in diameter. Another images is for the vertical rectangle, which is 20 dp in height, then 16 dp in width, and horizontal rectangle, which is 16 dp in height and 20 dp in width. Talking about geometry, preset standards have been determined for specific keylines, the circle, square, rectangle, orthogonals, and diagonals. These universal simple elements have been developed to unify Google system icons and systemize their placement on the icon grid. So here's the example image of clipboard icon and camera icon. How about the clarity pixel perfection? To avoid distorting an icon, position icons on pixel by making the x and y coordinates into integers without decimals. So for the example image, the do is position icons on pixel, then don't is don't place the icon on a coordinate that is not on pixel. Cross-platform adaptation, for example, is the Android. The up button contains a thin arrow with a stem. Example image for the iOS. On iOS, the back arrow is thicker and doesn't have a stem. Then on the right image is that on iOS, the back arrow may also include a label for the association or associated destination. Another example is for the Android on the left side, wherein the action overflow menu icon indicated by the more symbol contains 3 vertical dots, while on the right image for iOS, The action overflow menu icon, indicated by the more symbol, contains 3 horizontal dots. System icon metrics regarding anatomy. So it includes the anatomy as for the number 1 part, as you can see on the image. Number 1 is the stroke terminal. Number 2 is the corner. Number 3 is the counter area. Number 4 is stroke. Number 5 is counter stroke. And number 6 is the bounding area. For the corners, corner radiuses are 2 dp by default. Interior corner should be square, not rounded. For shapes, do 2 dp wide or less. Stroke corners shouldn't be rounded. So for example, exterior corners with 2 dp corner radii and the exterior or interior corners on the right. How about the stroke? System icons use a consistent stroke width of 2 dp, including curves, angles, and both interior and exterior strokes. So here's the example image for the 2 dp stroke and its consistency. Then another sample for the stroke terminal and counter stroke. For the do and don'ts, the do is use consistent stroke weights and square stroke terminals, while don't is don't use inconsistent stroke weights or rounded stroke terminals. For the complex icon shapes, if a system icon requires complex details, subtle adjustments can be made to improve its legibility. These adjustments are referred to as optical corrections. Any optical correction should use the geometric forms on which all other icons are based, without skewing or distorting those shapes. For the example of complex adjustment on the left image, the paper clip icon uses 1.5 dp of the possible 2 dp stroke area to fit multiple curves within the 24 by 24 dp icon space. On the left or on the right image, small scale, this icon uses a 1.5 dp stroke to show waves within the 24 by 24 dp icon space. Another example for the do and don'ts. For the do, make icons face forward. And for don't tilt, rotate, or make icons appear dimensional. Next example is do simplify icons for greater clarity and legibility, but don't be overly literal. Avoid complex icons. Talking about the space, adequate space should surround system icons to allow legibility and touch. Icons of 24 dp can use a touch target of 48 dp. Example, the first image is the clearance area and the second image is the placement. Dense layouts or desktop. When a mouse and keyboard are the primary input methods, Measurements may be condensed to accommodate denser layouts. Dense icons of 20 dp can use a touch target of 40 dp. For example, for the first image as the clearance area and the second image is for the placement. How about the color? First, icons on light backgrounds. There is active icon and inactive icon. For the active icon, the standard opacity for an active icon with focus state on a light background is 87%. And active with unfocused state is 54%. In an active icon, which is lower in the visual hierarchy, should have an opacity of 38%. So here's the sample image for the active, focus, and active unfocused, plus the inactive. Then icons on the dark backgrounds also have active icon and inactive icon. For the active icon, the standard opacity for an active icon with focus state on a dark background is 100%, and active with unfocused state is 70%, while inactive icon, which is lower in the visual hierarchy, should have an opacity of 50%. So here's the example image of the active, which is focused, active, which is unfocused, and inactive. In terms of icon themes, 3 attributes of system icons can be customized in order to create custom system icons such as stroke and fill, corner radius, and color. The following 4 preset custom icon sets are created by adjusting these attributes. First, the outline icons. Outline icons customize stroke and fill attributes for a light, clean style that works well in dense user interface. The stroke weight of outline icons can be adjusted to complement or contrast the weight of your typography. Next is stroke and fill. When system icons are unfilled, they are defined by their stroke. A thicker stroke adds a sense of heaviness and mass, making filled icons feel heavier. A thinner stroke implies lightness, giving unfilled icons a lighter style. So here's the example image for the unfilled icon and filled icon. Another example is to maintain legibility, the recommended stroke weight is 2 dp for most icons, which is on the left sample image. Then on the right sample image is 2 dp outlined icons remain readable across sizes and applications. How about stroke alignment? Stroke placement affects an icon's overall appearance depending on whether the stroke is placed on the inside, center, or outside of a shape. In most cases, the stroke is best aligned with the inside of a shape. So here's the example image. Number 1 is the standard material icon. Number 2 is the inside stroke alignment. Number 3 is center stroke alignment, while number 4 is the outside stroke alignment. Aligning the stroke to the shape interior produces a legible icon with a consistent stroke weight. Then for optimal legibility and recognition, the standard material icon style should be retained in some cases, such as full-body human icons or proprietary icons. Then, for the quotient example, in most cases, the stroke is best aligned inside of a shape. Occasionally, aligning the stroke to the center or outside of the shape works better for an icon. And for the do's, adjust shapes appropriately for your design and brand when customizing an icon stroke and alignment. Another example is the lighter stroke weight of these outline icons mimics the thin lines of the app's brand. Then another example, take the image. Number 1 image is the brand logo. Number 2 image is the outline icons in the app. And the number 3 image is the outline icons. Talking about sharp and rounded icons. First, sharp icons. Sharp icons display corners with straight edges for a script style that remains legible even at smaller scales. These rectangular shapes can support brand styles that aren't well reflected by rounded shapes. Rounded icons use a corner radius that pairs well with brands that use heavier typography, curved logos, or circular elements to express their style. While the corner radius, an icon's corner radius consists of curved exterior corners. Icons can be are characterized by a larger corner radius or a smaller one. So the example image is the recommended corner radius values are between 0 dp and 4 dp. If the stroke is 2 dp or less, the corner radius must be 1 dp. Then adjust the icon's interior corners and counter area to match the corner radius. For the do's and don'ts, customize the corner radius to remain legible while reflecting your product style. But don't round interior corners if it reduces the icon's legibility. Another example is the 0 dp corner radius of the sharp icon set echoes this app's rectangular design details. Then another image. Number 1 is for the brand logo. Number 2 is for the sharp icons. And number 3 is for the sharp icons in the app. This app uses rounded buttons and a line-drawn logo. Well, this image, look at the number 1, which is the brand logo. Number 2, the rounded icons. And number 3, rounded icons in the app. Two-tone icons. Two-tone icons have added dimension using the attributes of stroke, fill, and color. Contrasting stroke and fill colors enables the use of multiple brand colors and can improve legibility. So for the example on the left image, number 1 is the stroke, number 2 is the transparent fill. The recommended stroke weight for two-tone icons is 2 dp. On the right image, transparency should only be applied to the fill of two-tone icons. Two-tone icons can use different colors for an icon stroke and fill. The fill's transparency can be adjusted to improve legibility and align with your brand. Icon stroke must be 87% on light backgrounds and 100% on dark backgrounds. Fill color can vary depending on the tone of the background. Example is this email app uses two-tone brand elements such as its logo. Look at the image. For the number 1, it is the brand logo. Number 2 for the two-tone icons. And number 3, two-tone icons in the app. Two-tone icons can use different colors for an icon stroke and fill. The fill's transparency can be adjusted to improve legibility and align with your brand. Icon strokes must be 87% on light backgrounds and 100% on dark backgrounds. Fill color can vary depending on the tone of the background. So let's talk about the power of an application icons. Application icons are used to depict a particular application in a phone or computer. It is used by different application makers to launch the icon. Tapping or clicking an icon would open up the corresponding application to get it in use. It is basically a pictogram, which is part of graphical user interface linked to an application to help a user navigate through his iPhone, Android device, laptop, or PC. They are mostly miniatures of broader symbols used in different devices which are often globally accepted. A renowned and one of the most notable icon designers once said, "Good icons should be more like road signs than illustrations, easily comprehensible and not cluttered with extraneous detail." Primarily, there are three types of icons. First, standardized electrical device icons. Some icons used in iPhone applications or Android applications, or even computer icons for that matter, are derived from globally used and accredited icons. For example, the power icon, the start icon, repeat icon, random icon in music applications, the warning icon, and so on. They are used so that it is easily understood and acted upon by the user. Next is the metaphor icons. Metaphor icons are the ones which are hyperlinked to the different folders available in the phone. These icons could also help you also access the different drives on the device, for example, the trash icon and so on. And last is the brand icons. The third category of icons could be the symbol of a particular brand that launches the icon. They function the same way by hyperlinking the third-party application. For example, Avast icon, Facebook icon, Twitter icon. So take a look at the sample image on the screen. These icons can be created using different software and web help available in the internet. Adobe Photoshop is one of the most widely used such software. You can also choose others like Visual Studio and so on. You have to be absolutely sure to choose the picture or display of your icon. Choosing the right resolution is also one of the prime factors since that would directly impact the quality of your icon. Remember, the icon you design, especially if you are a third-party application provider, your icon would be the first impression on the user. Once you develop the icon and save it, or if you have done it with the help of the websites available, you have downloaded it. The next task is to hyperlink the icon to your application. This would include deciding on where the application would be stored, how it would be accessed, or so on. Let's proceed to the types based on functions. So here are the types of icons based on functions. First, clarifying icons. These are the icons aimed at explanation. They are visual markers explaining particular features or marking out categories of content. In some cases, they are not the layout elements of direct interaction. Also, you can often find them in combination with copies supporting their meaning. This trick activates multiple elements of perception in one interaction, providing better recognizability for call to action elements. People who instantly understand the symbol transferred with the icon won't pay the big attention to the copy. The same will happen to those who have problems with fast copy recognition. However, using the copy together with the icon decreases the risk of misunderstanding or wrong interactions for people who can possibly misinterpret the meaning of the image. For example, image is the Hami app. Next is the category icons for Sally app. Next is the interactive icons. The icons of this type are directly involved in the interaction process and are the core supporters of navigation. They are clickable or tappable and respond to the user's request doing the action symbolized by them. Their main goal is to inform users about the functions or features behind the buttons, controls, and any other elements of interaction. Example image is the tab bar interactions. Menu interaction concept. Another type is decorative and entertaining icons. The icons of this type give more about aesthetic appeal than functionality. However, this aspect is also significant and needs to be considered as the style and appearance corresponding to the target audience preferences and expectations set the solid ground for high desirability. Applied wisely, it is one of the features that can not only attract but also retain users and add much to the positive user experience. Decorative icons are often used to present seasonal features and special offers. So example is the Easter and spring theme icons. For the app icons are the interactive brand signs that present the application and different platforms supporting the original identity of the digital product. In most cases, it features the logo of the app designing or designed according to the requirements set for this kind of icon. However, it also can apply something else, for example, a mascot or an abstract combination of corporate colors. The effective solution is usually based on thorough market and competition research, with the aim of creating an original icon that won't get lost on the screen full of other app icons. So example, the elephant app icon. Another is the Fabicon, also known as URL icon or bookmark icon. It's a special type of symbol which represents the product or brand in the URL line of the browser as well as in the bookmark tab. It allows users to get a quick visual connection with it while they are browsing. This interface element proves itself effective for productive website promotion and good recognizability of its visual identity. Let's proceed to the types of icons based on visual performance. First is the Glib icons. The term Glib has come to design from the field of typography. The word takes its roots from the Greek word which means curving. Originally, the term presents an element symbols or pictogram which is included in the set of symbols agreed upon many users such as readers, writers, and so on. It presents a readable character, enabling people to write it. In the spirit of typography, it is a certain graphic representation of an element of written language within a particular system of writing or particular typeface. It can be a grapheme or part of a grapheme or sometimes several graphemes in combination, a composed of glib. Here's the extent of ancient Celtic glyphs, for example. Sample of the glyph of gateway, time, life, love, sun, moon, star, female, male, spin, success, cauldron, mountains, luck, storm, tree, fire, fruit, rivers, synchronicity, truth, energy, and protection. In modern digital design, the word clip reinvented its meaning but not into a sort of revolution. It is used to define a graphic symbol that provides the appearance or form for a character. It can be an alphabetic or numeric font as well as a symbol featuring an encoded character. Talking about icons, Glib icons are first of all described as a typographic symbol that represents something else, not letter or number. Among popular examples, we will also find the at symbol representing the preposition at. For example, here is the set of icons for material design from Google. Glib icons use simplified and universal shapes and images to be recognizable and flexible in terms of responsive design. They play a big role in the issues of navigation for a digital product. Example of the image is about weather icons. Then, flat and semi-flat icons. Flat icons are usually a bit more complex than glib. They can apply color combinations, filling of the elements, and present a bit more complicated images. Nevertheless, they are also focused on simple and recognizable visual metaphors, quickly transferring the required meaning. The most prominent feature which actually has inspired the name of this direction is applying flat two-dimensional visual details as the opposite to highly realistic and detailed skeuomorphic images. Flat style allows designers to be more flexible in applying the expressive power of colors and shapes, not losing in the legibility of the presented items. Example is the blog app. Skeuomorphic icons. Skeuomorphism is the design direction somehow opposite to flat. It is based on the idea of reflecting images in 3D look very close to the original natural look of the physical objects. It was popular for GUI of different types and functionality several years ago. But then, it was gradually replaced with flat design in user interface, which is simpler and therefore more flexible and practical for the needs of digital interfaces. Nevertheless, the skeuomorphic icons are still widely used in game design and app icons in the game sector. Another type based on visual performance is SVG icons, decoded as scalable vector graphics, are responsive icons built on XML-based 2D vector images. They are designed and integrated according to an open standard developed by the World Wide Web Consortium or W3C since 1999 and supported by all major browsers. SVG icons are growing their popularity as today websites are used on the diversity of platforms and devices and need to be responsive to provide positive user experience. Now let's talk about the types of icons based on applied image metaphor. This direction of the icons topology is based on the research provided by the famous expert in usability Jacob Nielsen and revealed in his article for Nielsen Norman Group. In this perspective, icons can be divided into three core types according to the type of metaphor they reflect. First, resemblance icons are the symbols directly depicting the physical object the icon represents. These are, for example, the magnifier for search, the shopping cart, the envelope for email, and so on. Next type is the reference icons, which are the symbols depicting an object on the basis of analogy. For instance, a picture of a clamp representing a file comparison utility, because it exquisite, goes to this group. Another is the arbitrary icons, are the symbols that currently do not set direct connections with the objects, and the recognizability is based on convention and power of habit. This is when we should remember about floppy disk representing the save function. Although initially it was a reference icon, for many users now it doesn't work like that. They just know the meaning solidly connected to this image for many years. So example on the image is the multimedia icon set. Now let's proceed to the key features of effective icons. So here are some of the features for the effective icons. First, it should be clear. The meaning of the icon is understandable and accessible to the target audience. Another is meaningful. The icon transfers the informative value. Next is recognizable. The visual symbol applied in the icon is presented in the form which can be recognized and decoded correctly by users. Another is simple. The icon is not overloaded with non-essential graphic elements, which allows it to be quickly perceived and understood without too much effort. Another is original and noticeable. The icon stands out among other similar elements of the interface, which is especially actual for the app icons. Another features for the effective icons is scalable and flexible. The icon saves its unity, integrity, and legibility in different sizes and resolutions. And last is attractive. The icon satisfies aesthetic expectations and sets harmonic visual appeal. For the other key features of effective icons, it is non-offensive. The icon doesn't have hidden meanings or misperceptions which could feel offensive or rude for any part of the target audience, and consistent. The icon corresponds to the general stylistic concept of the layout it is applied for. So that's all the ideas or learnings about the types or functions of user experience or user interface or UI icons. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.